So anyway, so at this point in my life, about 80% of my business is referral business. It's business that I have been cultivating for the last 20 years. I mean, my clients don't go away. They keep coming back. Thank God for that. And they keep sending me referrals because I make myself, and I don't expect everybody to run their business like I run my business, but I make myself available for anything. Even when they have a question that it doesn't pertain to real estate, I have become the source of the source for a lot of my clients. So when I am their Google. They come to me no matter what it is. You know, if they're looking for an electrician or a plumber or a contractor or whatever, I always tell them, whatever you need, I'm available. Give me a call. If it's within my power to help you, I will. Okay. And that has been that has been kind of like my success story in this business, because I keep getting people to come back, and they trust me, and they keep coming back, and they also, the amount of referrals that I get is huge. So I'm very grateful for that. And I continuously add people to my database. And honestly, Command is making it so much easier than before, because I used to keep 100 little notes and all these little notepads, and now I go in Command and I create an opportunity, and I put all their information in there, and I can go back and revisit when I need to, and it's all online. So basically, it's about you connecting with buyers and sellers. This segment is about the sellers, so it's about being a good listener. Okay, God gave us 2 ears and 1 mouth. So when you sit with a seller, your job is really to listen to what their needs are, to listen to, you know, what it is that they're looking for or what they're trying to accomplish. And then based on that, you'll be able to assist them better. You know, I can't see everybody because I'm on my phone. So I'm not using the computer because I don't have a camera on my computer. So has everybody, you know what, I like for everybody to kind of tell me a little bit about themselves too, if you don't mind, because I know that there's more people on now, and I like to know who they are and how long they've been in the business. I know some of yous already, but it would be nice if we can go around the screen and kind of get to know each other, because some of yous might not know each other.
Okay. We can start with Beth. You want to go first?
Yeah, hi, my name is Beth Whitney. Before joining Keller Williams, I worked in corporate America and decided to make a career change. I got my real estate license in December. Didn't really get started until right before the shutdown. So I'm going back through and just refreshing on some of the core responsibilities and topics. So what I'm doing.
Okay, great.
Julissa.
Hi, my name is Julissa Amaro. I've been in real estate since 2006. I'm a broker. I've been with Keller Williams for 2 years, and Command has a lot of opportunities that I am yet very unfamiliar with. So there's a lot of opportunities that I am not maximizing right now, and definitely would love to know all the ins and outs, because I do see that every time that I learn something new, it does have a reason behind why it's so good. So I'm looking forward to whatever we can learn from this that, you know, help us maximize. And I'm big on always going back, and even no matter how long you've been in the business, there's always more to learn. So that's why I'm here.
Amen.
Yeah. Kim?
Hi, everyone. My name is Kim. I've been in the business for 8 months. I'm newly licensed, and really the first brokerage I ever joined was Keller Williams. Prior to becoming a real estate agent, I ran my own digital media company with another partner. And I joined real estate because my dad's a contractor, and he worked already with many real estate agents, and he thought his daughter would be a good fit. So joined the industry, which is why I joined, and I'm actually working really closely with the mentor who's on today, Dulce Amaro, who's also been very grateful for her kind of teaching me the ins and out of real estate. Yeah, and a lot of my business right now, I do a lot of prospecting in my sphere. I've been working directly with a lot of small business owners and first-time home buyers.
Great.
How about Karen? I'll unmute you. You got it?
Got it. Hi, everybody.
Hi,
My
Karen.
name is Karen Ray. I've actually been a licensed agent since, I guess it was the end of 2017. Didn't really have a very active first few months, but then 2018 and 2019 were okay. But even though I took Ignite when I first started, because I was brand new to real estate, I didn't absorb as much as I would have liked. So now that I've been doing it a couple years and I know all the terminology and everything, I'm back at it again just to review. So that's really what my goal is today, is just to review everything and solidify, what I should be doing for listings and, and buyers and all that stuff. So it's just a reinforcement for me.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Shifra?
Hi, I just joined a bit late, so I'm sorry. What's
Hi. That's okay.
today? Is that the question?
Just tell us a little about yourself, yeah.
Oh, so I'm ever-growing agent, learning to do more and be more. In real estate, 2.5 years. And I'd like to continue learning new skills, perfecting the ones I have, and learn from more of our leadership.
Thank you. Alex? I'll unmute. Can you talk? I'll unmute you.
Can you hear me?
Yeah.
Okay. Hi.
How are you?
Good. How are you? I'm sorry. I didn't hear. I just got on right now. Literally, I had a phone call, so I didn't hear what you guys were talking about.
Just tell us a little
introduce
about yourself.
Okay. All right. So, I've been an insurance auditor. That's my background, an insurance auditor for over 20 years. And just got into real estate about 4 years ago. Real estate was something that I always wanted to get into. Personal experiences, just seeing things, with family and people wanted to get homes, hardworking people that didn't have any direction. So it was something that always, stuck with me and something that I always wanted to pursue. But I was a single dad, so I had to make sure that I had a guaranteed job, and I didn't have the ability to do that. So I had to push it off. But 4 years ago, my son is adult, so he's doing his own thing, thankfully doing well. So I was able to now focus on getting into real estate. So being in it for 4 years. First couple of years, didn't really put too much into it. Last couple of years is when I've really been able to invest more time. Working with buyers. I love working with buyers, which is great. It's definitely something that I enjoy because of the personal experience that I mentioned before. So that's something that I wanted to do. But what I want to focus on is listings. And that's something that I really want to dive into. Haven't had my first one yet. I've been close a couple of times, but hasn't really worked out. So that's really where I want to grow and, be a lister. I know listers are lasters is what I keep hearing. So I want to be one of those. So that's me.
Thanks, Alex. Sherry?
Hi, can everyone hear me?
Yeah, if you want, you could turn on your video so we could see you.
I'm currently babysitting my nephews.
Okay, we get it.
It's one of those crazy, crazy mornings and a crazy day, so I'm a little all over the place, but I wanted to
That's
be
okay.
here anyways. But yes, my name is Sherry. I'm a new agent. I've been at Keller Williams for about 8-10 months. I'm also a teacher, so real estate was something that I was always interested in. And as of now, it's kind of part-time, but I'm really trying to learn and absorb everything I can get. I really want to grow more as an individual, and I'm hoping just to learn more, and hopefully this can be a full-time career for me.
Great. And Josh?
Yeah, hi. So I've been in business now for like 5.5 months around, and yeah, always in.
You know, Josh, you're coming in and out a little. I don't know. Yeah, we can't hear you, Josh. That's okay. As long as you can hear us, you're good.
Well, thank you everybody for being here. That's awesome. And I do believe, as someone mentioned before, that in this business you constantly have to learn and you have to constantly reinvent yourself.
Muted again.
I'm muted.
You're back. You're back.
Oh, okay. I don't know. I didn't touch anything. So listings are everything in this business. Listings will draw the buyers and will grow your business. So going after, listen, when I started in this business, I didn't know what I was doing. And I didn't work for a company like Keller Williams that provided the training and the support and the technology that we have today. So when I started in this business, I got in my car, and what I did was I just drove around and wrote down every for sale by owner and contact them all once I got home, because I don't even think that I had a cell phone. I did have a cell phone, but not one like with the technology that we have today. I couldn't take a picture of the house. I couldn't do the things that we do today with phones. Okay, so so having all these tools is really wonderful, but it always boils down to your relationship with the people that you are working for. And I always share this, especially with new agents, because a lot of times new agents are afraid to go after listings and they feel they don't have the experience, they don't know what they're doing. I always tell everybody, it doesn't matter what you know. People don't care how much you know. What they care is about how much you care about them. Okay, so if you go into a listing appointment and they see that you are someone that really cares about getting them the most money and doing the best service for that seller, they will work with you no matter how long you've been in this business. You know, it's about going in there, being honest, and really showing them that you really care about them. Okay, so I really don't have a handle on the and I mentioned this before, on the listing presentation on command.
But you're lucky because I do.
I know, that's why I'm
lucky.
so blessed. I'm so blessed that you're here, okay? Because otherwise I'd be lost. And so before command, I used Michael Lewis, okay? And you know, like every presentation, you have a presentation, but you also have to adapt it, okay, and make some changes and personalize it when you have a presentation. And there's materials that you can also add where you can bring the seller stats and information about the neighborhood that can make you kind of like the expert in the area. Okay, so there's a bunch of stuff that's available that you can incorporate with your presentation, because you want to make sure that people know that you know what you're talking about. And you know what, like we always say, that if you don't know, if there's a question you can't answer, you can always say, look, I work with a great team of people and I don't have the answer to that question, but I'll definitely take note of it and I'll come back to you with an answer. Okay? Any questions? I guess not. So do you have the okay, so here, I don't know if you're looking at the same stuff that I'm looking at, but this is how sellers found their agents. I don't know if you're looking, I don't know what page that is in your
okay, I can go to that page. So, okay, so we did this already, what sellers want. We did that?
Sellers want. Well, sellers want somebody that's going to look out for them. They want to know that that you care about them. They're going to want you to be a good listener and make sure that you understand what their needs are. You want to make sure that you work with people that are ready to sell now. Okay, you'll get. I got a phone call a couple days ago. I got a call from a lady my husband and I are thinking about selling our house. Can you give me an idea what my house is worth? I said, sure. I said, when do you plan to relocate? She said to me, in 2 years. I said, well, do you understand that the evaluation I'm going to do for you today is not going to have any influence in what's going to happen 2 years from now, because the market changes month to month. Not even 6 months. Right now it's changing like month to month, because things are moving so quickly. And now we have all these multiple offers, and the market is going to keep changing. It's going to get a little crazy right now, because it's a seller's market, and there's a lot of buyers and very, very little inventory right now. So that's why it's important that you become a strong listing agent, that you're not afraid to approach sellers and go after listings. Having a good listing presentation is important. Keeping your appointments and being on time to your appointments, being prepared with your materials, with your listing presentations. A lot of times when I go to a listing appointment, I try to go ready with everything, because sometimes you only get one chance. And if you connect with that seller, they might give you the listing right on the spot. I know that most of the time they teach us to send a pre-listing presentation, send a pre-listing package, and all of that stuff is great, and you can still do that. But a lot of times, if somebody calls you and tells you, listen, I need to sell my house, and you're going to go see them, you should be completely ready. You should have a sign in your car. You should have a lockbox. You should have your listing presentation. You should have your documents for them to sign right there on the spot, or maybe have a tablet or a laptop where they can sign things electronically for you, depending on who you're going to go see, because there are a lot of times when you're working with a group of a certain age where the technology might be a difficulty for them. I mean, I just took a listing that we're going to list for in a couple of weeks, and they're relatively a young couple, and they said, no, we can't do anything electronically. You have to bring us the papers so we can sign them. So you have to be prepared to adapt to the needs of that particular client, regardless of the age, because I know that there's older people that are very savvy with computers and doing things electronically. But you should go to a listing appointment fully prepared, because you don't know if you walk in. I've gone to a house, I've walked through a house, and I've made comments about the house, and when we go back to the kitchen table to sit down and talk, they say to me, where do I sign? Okay, and obviously those are the kind of sellers you want to be prepared for, because you don't want to lose that window of opportunity. And you should always go and establish, like, by bringing stats, by bringing information, you're going to establish yourself as the expert in the area.
I'm just trying to figure out what page are you on. I just want to catch up to you. What page are you on?
I am on page 3.
Oh, which one?
I'm not far.
1, 2. You're on this page?
I am on page 3. It says here, let me see, it says to review the agenda for the 1-hour session for the group.
Okay, so we're on the agenda still, right here?
Yeah. So
Okay.
now I'm going to go to page 4.
Okay.
And this talks about how, well, I don't know if my page 4 is your page 4. I'm not sure.
Okay. So does it look like this or no? Do I keep going?
It's how sellers found their agent.
Got it.
It has the pie. Okay.
All right. Let me know when you're switching pages. Okay.
Okay. So here, this is an example from NART, how sellers found their agents. Okay. So 39% were referred by, or is a friend, neighbor, or relative. Okay. So having a good relationship with your neighbors is very important, especially for new agents. A lot of times I tell new agents, hey, listen, did you do a mailing in your neighborhood? And they looked at me, what do you mean? I said, don't you want every one of your neighbors to know that you are in real estate? So I tell everybody, the minute you become a realtor, the first place that you should be marketing to is your own neighbors. Because I'm telling you, I get upset when I drive down the street and I see somebody else's sign on the lawn, okay? And it's happened. So when I moved into my neighborhood, I sent out a mailing. And I said, this is who I am. I live here. I care about the values in this neighborhood. If you know anyone that's looking to buy, sell, or invest in real estate, please give them my name. Feel free to knock on my door. I'd love to meet you. You know, I mean, that's if you're comfortable doing that, you know?
Dulce, we have a question. We have one question here. Where do you find your market stats? From Karen Ray.
There's a lot of stuff that's available. You can even ask Erin to help you with that. There's a lot of stuff that's available from the MLS. And then there's some stats that Erin can put together. Every month, and I don't know if she's done it the last couple of months because things have been different, but every month, at least in our market center, and I'm sure they do the same in the other ones, Erin puts out a stats of where we are in the market in comparison to other companies.
If you want, I can show you quickly. I just learned this myself in April.
Is that the lore report?
What is it?
The lore report?
Never heard of it. So
well, that's the language of real estate. Lore stands for the language of real estate.
Yeah, that's something the Market Center puts out, I know.
Yeah.
Right, that's what I was looking for, because if I don't have my own stats, I was looking for something that was more specific to the Market Center.
Sure.
That I could put in the listing presentation instead.
If you
Right.
should.
If you're looking for like a town or something, you could pull it up yourself in
is it
MLS
stats?
under where is it?
Right
InfoSparks.
Yeah.
InfoSparks, and you can put in the town or the city you're looking for, and it'll give you the information.
Got it. Okay, so I'm predominantly in Dutchess, and this is still going to be pretty accurate even for Dutchess.
I don't know. This is H
Well,
card. So
the Dutchess has their own Mid-Hudson MLS.
Yeah, I know.
Yeah.
So that's the thing. I have 3 different MLSs that I belong to.
Right.
And so you have to pull your stats from each MLS then.
Most likely, yeah, depending on the location.
Yeah,
Of the
okay.
property. Yeah, because there's stuff that's located in Lower Dutchess County that is more visible in our MLS than their MLS because they know they're getting more of an audience from us.
Got it.
So it depends on where it is.
Thank you.
You're welcome. Any other questions? Not now? Okay, no problem. So, you know, like I mentioned before, relationships are everything. Letting your neighbors know who you are and that you're in real estate, talking to friends. Hey, listen, I walk into, you know, we don't do it. We haven't been doing that in a few months because of what we're going through, but you know what? Wear your name tag all the time. You go to a supermarket, you go pump gas, you go anywhere, and people are always interested in real estate. You don't know where your next piece of business is gonna come from, because when people see you and you're wearing your name tag, they're gonna say, "Oh, you're in real estate? How's real estate?" Everybody wants to know how real estate is doing. That's for sure. So even something as simple as wearing your name tag, giving out business cards. I believe that you should be giving out at least 10 business cards every day, everywhere you go. Whether you go to the supermarket, whether you go get gas, whether you go to the dentist or the doctor's office, I think you need to let people know that you're in real estate. Sometimes we take it for granted. Sometimes we have friends that don't know what we're doing, you know, and it's really, really important, because most of your business, as you can see here, is going to come from your own personal sphere. That's why building your database is so important. Okay, so 27% of sellers have used agents previously, which is return business. When you do good by someone, they're gonna refer you to somebody else. And then personal contact by agent, that's only 5%. Internet website is 4%. A lot of times we think that if we're spending a lot of marketing dollars in all these websites and buying all these zip codes and stuff like that, that we're going to get a lot of business from those. And if you look at the stats, you really don't. The business is going to come 39 and 27. That's 66% of your business is going to come from previous clients, from friends, from family, from neighbors, from people in your sphere. So it's very, very important to continuously stay in touch with your sphere. That's where most of your business is going to come from.
And next page.
Yeah, I'm just reading here. It says here, would you be surprised to learn that 75% of sellers only contact one agent before selecting one? So first impressions are everything. If you go meet a seller and they see that you're honest, that you're sincere, and that, you know, they believe that you're going to do for them what you're telling them you're going to do, they're going to hire you on the spot. It says here how important first impressions are everything. They're very important. So now moving to the next page. And this next page talks about what sellers want. Okay, so what does a good first impression look like? Anybody? Okay, so if you're following a first impression, that's besides being professional, friendly, and likable, seller have specific objectives that they want to know you can help them achieve. 21% want help marketing their home. 20% want to make sure it sells in a certain time frame. 19% want help pricing competitively. 16% want advice on improvements to improve their sales price, and 13% want help finding a buyer. Only 11 stated they want to help with a paperwork and inspections, negotiations, etc. So, you know, again, listening to the needs of the sellers are very, very important. I mean, negotiations is also a very important role and very important part of what we do. Sometimes what they're really looking for is for you to help them get the most for their house. That's really what they're looking for. You know, and then again, you have another particular type of seller that's emotional, and they want to make sure that they sell the house to a family that's going to, you know, care and love the house the way they did. Because you have all kinds of people out there. Some people are emotional about selling their house. Right now, because the market is what it is, I find, and this has already happened a couple of times, that most offers are coming with a letter of intent. Okay, so that's a letter that the seller writes, you know, expressing how much they love the house, how much they love the neighborhood, how they want to raise their family there, because they're trying to get to the emotional side of some of the sellers. Okay, and I think sometimes that's important to the seller, knowing who they're selling their house to, you know.
Can I interrupt you real quick in regards to that letter?
Excuse me? Sure, of course.
So what I've heard is in regards to that letter that you have to be really careful as an agent, because if we are getting involved in supplying that letter, we have to be very aware of the content that is being delivered in that letter in
Correct.
regard to, I think in the past, it was used like, you know, we just gave it, that was it. And then at one point they started saying you shouldn't be sharing, people were sharing photos of their families.
Like for fair housing, you mean?
And yeah, and then they were talking about their family, how old their kids were, and they were throwing pictures in there of their kids. So can you tell us a little bit about, if you know the actual details, what we should be looking out for when people choose to write these letters?
I think that when people are writing these letters, it should be about how much they love the house, how they like the neighborhood, how they would like to raise their kids there. I know where you're going with this. It should be, you know, I believe that everything should be short, sweet, and to the point, you know, without too much detail, but just showing that they care about the house and they would really love to live there. You know, I don't know if that helps you in any way or form.
You're saying no pictures, don't send pictures.
Oh no, I don't believe in pictures. I never. First of all, that hasn't happened to me yet. Maybe it's happened in other cases. I haven't experienced that yet. When my sister had a house that she sold, and you know, she asked me to handle everything. I mean, down to she wanted me to pick the offer for her. She didn't even want to be bothered. So along with her offers came a lot of letters of intent. Okay, and there was, people got very emotional about, wanting to live in these particular houses, but I never got a picture of the family or anything that could be in any way, discriminatory, So if you get the letter, you review it, okay? You don't have to, tell them what to write on the letter. Just tell them to, just keep it plain and sweet and to the point, Yeah, okay. No, I mean, I'm sure that everybody's having the same experience right now. We are in a crazy market right now because with the shortage of inventory and the amount of people that want to buy houses, it's really crazy. Just before I got on this call, I got a complaint from a buyer that put in an offer was accepted a month ago, 4 weeks ago. They've been trying to get in the house to do the home inspection, and the listing agent has not been cooperative because in order for them to do the home inspection, they need the electric on and they need some oil in the tank. And, according to the listing agent, the seller had not done it. So the problem is that now the agent is saying that they have other offers. So this buyer is livid because he got an accepted offer 4 weeks ago. He's been patient about getting in there to do the home inspection. And now this agent is saying, well, I have another offer now, so I gotta handle that after this. Okay. Because it has not been, it has been a little complicated the last couple of months. And of course, right now, when we go take a listing, we got to put in that we got to leave in the house somewhere where it's visible. We got to leave that fair housing note that I think everybody's familiar with right now. There's a note that we have to leave posted in a visible place in the house. And then we have to have the sellers acknowledge that, what the fair housing laws are, so more paperwork. Don't we love it? And there's other times, depending on the market that we're in, where you send a pre-listing packet. I mean, people have used different tactics. They'll send a pre-listing packet on a Friday when they know the family is going to be home and they're going to have a chance to review it Friday and Saturday. And what they do is they get in touch with a local pizzeria, and they send a pie with the listing packet and a little note saying, I'll take care of dinner today, so you can take the time to look at what I'm sending you in advance. Again,
Love that.
Yeah, but you know what? That's something that we don't have time to do right now. If you don't get there and you're not ready to list the house, you might have to bring the pizza to the listing appointment and say, okay, sign here. Because time is so we have a small window of time to win that listing and to get in there and get the paper signed. And I have a seller that I'm working with right now, and she's prepping her house. She needed to neutralize it because she had crazy colors in the house. and she needed to do some things. And, you know, I didn't get the paper signed yet, and I'm afraid that it's been about 10 days, and I want to get in there and I want her to get the document signed because, you know, while she's painting, somebody else might come and knock on the door, you know? So,
I have a question.
sure.
Dulce, you've been doing this a long time. Do you ever get pushback from your sellers about painting?
I mean, there's people that will, you know, when I go in there, I give them as advice as how to make the house as sellable as possible.
Yeah.
Okay. But just because you give them the advice doesn't mean they're going to do it. Okay. So that is something that they're going to have to take into consideration when somebody comes in to negotiate, you know, because
Oh,
now the seller has to spend all this money. And I just put in an offer for a buyer where the house is totally dated. It's got these pink carpets and it's got a dated kitchen and bathrooms, but it's the size she needs, you know? So she made an offer according to what she knows she's gonna have to spend to bring the house up to date. Now, it might work or it might not work. We're still going back and forth because the seller people keep coming to see the house. And that listing agent is saying, well, I got 3 appointments today. I got 2 appointments tomorrow. And that's what the seller is looking at because of the circumstances that we're in now. Okay.
yeah.
But under other circumstances, you know, I tell them to neutralize the house, you know, to declutter the house, to depersonalize the house. I don't have a problem telling them that. A lot of times, depending on the house, I bring I forgot what, I bring, I bring a professional photographer, but I also bring a stager, okay? So the stager comes with vases and flowers and pillows and, you know, things. And so we tell them, you know, we're going to move your stuff. Sometimes we even have to move the furniture around to make the house more appealing. Because sometimes they have things in a place because it's convenient for them, but it's not in the position that makes the house more attractive, you know?
Yeah.
So, but so far, when we do things like that, they're pretty open. And when we're done, they say, you know what, I'm going to keep it this way because they like it. They see, you know, they see that the house is more attractive that way. I
Right.
don't do that. I don't do that with every listing. Okay, that the house has to warrant that. You know what I mean? And it has to be a seller that's cooperative and open to that.
Okay.
But
Yeah.
I do use a professional photographer. He takes
Mhm.
pictures. You know, this is part of the package. Now he's doing videos for me as well. Um, and like I said, I bring a stager. Again, I haven't brought a stager out because the stager doesn't want to come out right now. You know, understandably so. But I try to make the house as, you know, we talk about landscaping.
Mhm.
You know, 'cause sometimes curb appeal is everything. So I have a conversation with them. Listen, you need to clean up the yard. You got to get rid of this, get rid of that. You know, you got to pick up the dog poop and put a little seed so, you know, you can get some grass growing, you know, because people
Mhm.
have pets too, you know.
Yeah.
And
It's
then,
just that when I have a listing now and the house is in really great condition. It's just her
Mhm.
choice of paint colors are very
Right, right,
personal.
yeah,
And, you know, I've had people listings before too, where people don't want to put a dime in, not even for a new toilet or like anything that needs to be fixed. So I
right.
just tell them
No,
that it's going to have to reflect in the price.
right, exactly. So,
Okay.
you know, that's a conversation, you know,
Yeah.
when people come, you know, they're gonna, and when you do your CMA and you're bringing them comps of properties that are, you know, completely redone and they have a new kitchen and they have hardwood floors, you know, you got to tell them we cannot compare this. We have to deduct from your value because you're not offering this. You know, your
Right.
house might be the same size, it might be in the same neighborhood, but unfortunately, it's not in the same group, you know.
Right. Thank you.
Oh, no problem. Uh, okay, I'm scrolling down to page 7.
Is that page 7? I don't have page numbers.
Oh, okay. I have, aren't you using the same thing I'm using?
Yeah, but I wanna, as I'm presenting, the page numbers don't show up.
Oh, really? Okay.
Yeah.
I'm in, what is this?
Well, look at the screen. Is it that page?
I can't see what you're seeing.
Oh,
Um, It says here, before the listing appointment, you'll do far more listening than talking. I think I brought that up already. We got 2 ears and 1 mouth, okay? So we better listen. It's just, you know, it's funny because I've gone to appointments and people have all these concerns and they have all these, you know, what should I do about this? What should I do about that? And I just sit there and listen and they come out with their own answers. You know what? I should do this. I should clean. I should paint. I say, yeah, that's right. You should. You know, I just agree with what they say, you know? So I'm very honest with them. And sometimes, you know, honesty is not necessarily what they want to hear, but I have to be honest with them. And in the long run, they end up, you know, being agreeable and understanding that I'm just looking out in their best interest. Because, you know, there are agents that would say things that are really, you know, that they're not willing to take that risk, you know? So again, you have different type of buyers. I'm sorry, different types of sellers. You have sellers that are ready right now. You are ones that, you know, might want to sell 6 months from now. And then you have other sellers that might want to wait longer than that, you know? So they all matter anyway, you know, because if you don't have it now, that's future business. So those are the people you need to keep in touch with regardless. You know, like I mentioned before, this woman says to me, well, we're planning to relocate in 2 years. I still did a market analysis for her and I sent it to her and we had a conversation. And again, I said to her, you know, the value today might not be the value. I can't promise you that this is the value that the house is going to have 2 years from now, because, you know, we've seen so many times where, you know, market goes skyrocketed and then all of a sudden it drops, you know? So I'd rather be honest up front and make sure that, you know, I want to set the right expectations. And I'm going to tell you, there have been times that when they're very, very unreasonable, even though right now, even unreasonable is okay, as crazy as that sounds, where I've said to them, listen, I'd rather disappoint you now than 6 months from now. You know, I'd rather disappoint you today and for you 6 months from now to be mad at me because your house didn't sell. So there's times when I have walked away, but you know, that's up to you. That's up to you, because when somebody's unreasonable and they have unreasonable expectations, you also have to consider your time, your energy, because you could take that time and energy and apply it to something that's going to be productive to you, you know? So, you know, you can be a little selective about your business as well. And I don't think there's anything wrong with that, you know? Okay, so here it talks about your pre-listing goals. The pre-listing goals should state the value, you know, of what you believe the value is of the property. It builds, it helps build sellers' confidence, and it answers questions in advance. So a lot of these packages are prepared to answer a lot of the questions in advance for the sellers, and it saves you time. So what do you think is the biggest question the seller is going to ask you? Anybody has an answer?
The price of their house should be listed at.
Okay, what else?
That's what I was going to say. How much is my home worth?
Well, that's a good one, but there's one
Same
that's even
thing.
bigger than that.
How much do you charge?
You got it. They always want to talk about the commission. Okay, so you also have to educate them about the commission and where the commission goes, and you shouldn't be afraid of that. Okay, I'm gonna see if I could do a visual for you guys. Hold on a minute.
Oh, this is gonna be exciting. She's getting ready, guys.
No, no, no. I'm just,
What is she doing? Puppets?
this is a piece of paper. Okay. So if they start talking about the commission, oh, that's a lot of money, you know, but well, let me show you. This is how it works. Half of the commission goes to the other broker. Okay. So now I'm left with this. So now I have to share my commission with my broker. So now I'm left with this. So now I need to spend this much money in marketing and advertising. Okay. So now I'm left with this. How much of this do you want me to sacrifice?
You forgot the IRS.
You can add that one here. Now I'm left with this.
I love
We actually can keep going. We can actually keep going. But this is a visual that years ago an office manager showed me that I think is great, and I think it works no matter what market you're in, you know? And it's something very, very simple.
I do think the general public is misinformed. They think that you're getting the whole 5% or whatever, 6%.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And so if you do your CMA in Matrix, which I use Matrix and I do my CMA too, Matrix has a page in there that discuss what the commission goes. And I make sure that that page is in there so they understand where the commission is going. Because Matrix has a, when you do the CMA through Matrix, they have, you could put 100 pages in a CMA, but you don't want to do that. You want to give them the ones that you feel are important and going to make an impact. So they do have a page as part of their CMA that talks just like this on where the commission goes. And I think it's important to put that in there. Because always the big question is how much are you going to charge me? What is this going to cost me? You know?
I took a class, it was pricing strategies during COVID, when everything was shut down. And the woman who taught the class suggested that we call the fee a brokerage fee.
Right.
Because if you use the word commission, they do think you're getting that whole thing.
Yeah.
So I don't know if it's, necessary, but.
No, there's nothing wrong with that. If you're comfortable using that, that's fine. They're going to look at it as commission because they know that's what it is. No matter what you name it, they're going to want to know what it's going to cost them. You know what I mean?
I'm going to get a bunch of white paper to keep in my car.
Yeah.
Thank you for that.
When you bring your marketing materials, bring some blank paper like this,
Yeah, funny.
So you know what? It's 2:54. So why don't we take a 10-minute break? So if you guys want to grab a cup of coffee or use the restroom, or I need to do something. So if we could take 10 minutes, Eileen, that sounds good. You're muted. You're muted. You're muted.
Thanks, Dulce.
Sorry. Yeah. We'll turn
Okay.
off our screens and we'll see you guys back at 3:05.
Okay. Sounds like a plan. Thank you.
Okay.
Thank you.
No? No, there should have been more. Let me see. It says there's 11. They'll be back.
We're back. Everybody's muted.
Hi.
So are we
What?
up to the packet now, Dulce?
I'm sorry, I didn't hear you.
Are we up to the pre?
We are pre-listing packet. That's where we're at. Yeah, you're right. Let me see. Well, this is the point, Eileen, where we're supposed to break them up into groups. So I don't know how many people we actually have on. I think we have like 8.
Yeah, we have Alex. Well, it's you, Ingrid, Melissa, Tim, and Sherry. I can provide them if you want.
Excuse me?
I can provide them up if you want.
It's up, it's up to you. It's up to them if they want to break up into some groups and do some, to read over the pre-listing packet in the toolkit.
Or we could do it as one. Like,
I'm good with that too.
I have a question. I'm having trouble following along in the packet materials that were enclosed. So I'm not sure exactly where, like the pre-listing packet that you just mentioned, where that would be in the materials. It just looks different than what you've been showing on the screen. That's why I'm asking.
The materials that I'm using are a little different because they're like for the trainer than the ones that you are using.
let me see if I could find that.
I'm looking at the pre-listing script practice, which is where I think we should be. And I think, Beth, that's page 8. That should be
Okay.
7 and 8. 7 and 8, starts with 7 with the pre-listing packet. And there's some questions there. And then you have the pre-listing script practice, which is something that we wanted, people to do.
Okay, so my page 5 says pre-listing presentation. What are reasons sellers overestimate the value of their home? What parts of the pre-listing presentation help you set the seller's expectations? Is that what you were referring to?
It's different from what I'm looking at.
Yeah, this is their guide. I'm opening up their guide. Is everybody else hearing the feedback I hear?
Yes.
I think it's coming from you, Dulce, because when I muted you. Do you have 2 things on?
I'm sorry, repeat that?
Do you have Zoom on different places?
No, what I'm doing is I'm on my screen, I'm looking at the email that you send me with the packages. So I have in the email that you send me the participant guide, you send me the presentation.
Right, that's what I have up on the screen before.
And then you send me the facilitator guide, which is what I've been using.
Okay, so this is what they have. I have what they have.
So guide.
You're using the guide that they're using?
No, I'm just showing, this is their guide that they have. I had the presentation.
I think it's in the Ignite toolkit. All of those, or it's somewhere in KW where you have the pre-listing packet, and then the listing presentation, the one that you had just up on the screen, Eileen, a little bit ago. It's somewhere in KW. I'm trying to recall where I saw it. Under resources, maybe? And this was before command. So
So in the packet you have, Beth, what does it say on the top of page 8?
My page 8 is actually like the last page of a script.
Oh, okay.
And I downloaded the version 5.1 from the meeting invite registration.
Okay.
So I'm not sure if that's the right one.
I don't either. That's everybody's muted right now.
that's it, Eileen. Where did you find it?
I can't hear you, Eileen. I don't know.
It's just, it's just the PowerPoint presentation. It's not the whole thing.
Is that in command?
Let me see. I know there's actually listing presentation I can show you. Actually, Dulce, I'm not sure, but I think it's coming from you, the feedback.
I don't know from what. I'm just here alone.
Yeah, no, I know. Let me try it now. See, when I mute you, you don't hear the feedback, right? And then when I unmute you, I hear it.
Well, Dulce said she was logged onto her computer and she has the cell phone at the same time. So when you have the same thing going on, it creates like a frequency kind of issue.
Maybe, because she said she
So-
wasn't logged into Zoom through her computer though, so,
I'm
Oh,
only connected on my phone.
yeah.
I'm only using my computer. I'm looking at the email that Eileen sent me earlier
Yeah, it sounds better now, so that's good.
with the
Maybe-
material, so I don't know. It's good now?
Yeah, and Karen, I was able to find the listing presentations in command, but not a pre-list packet.
Unless they're considering that. Let me see.
Well, they're calling it the guide to selling your house on the front of it.
Well, Dulce, do you use a pre-listing package? We actually go in the listing presentation right away.
Now I hear the feedback and it's like coming from you.
Yeah, I don't know. I don't know. I can't really log out because I think the whole meeting ends. So
Hmm.
or I
we
could
could
just,
all log out and log back in.
I could just be quiet. That works too. I'll mute myself. I'll see if that helps.
But did you guys have the right materials or or are you still in doubt with the materials you have?
We don't have the same ones as you.
Yeah, so what is interesting is that when I went to register, the documents I downloaded are different than the ones that are attached to the email. So I downloaded 5.1, but the email has 5.2. So they're different.
Mm,
which is a little confusing.
right, right.
But Eileen's in the right place now. This is where it is.
All right, so I need these ones.
So that's in KW Connect.
I might as well unmute. 'Cause it's okay, this is in French. So this isn't good. Yeah, I went to KW Connect. Oh, this is because it's in French. Okay. I don't getting French. Those materials. Yeah, I don't know why I have Canada.
If you keep going down, it should go into English. There. Oop.
All right, so this one. So this is what you
Hey,
have.
Beth, what's your email?
What was that?
Beth, what's your email?
K Beth Whitney at kw.com. I think I have the right one now.
Yeah, okay.
I downloaded it from the email instead of the registration.
Okay, very, very good, very good. Okay, great. Okay.
Let's go back to the spreadsheet then.
So, okay, so are we on the same page now?
What page are you on?
Pre-listing goals.
All right, we can go to that.
I think we did pre-listing packet already, so pre-listing goals. There you go. Now we're on the same page.
I'll go to that one.
Okay, so when I went to family reunions, okay, I took a class that was really, really interesting. And because sometimes, you know, we talk about stating our value proposition, and we give it a lot of thought, and we think about it so much that we write 3 pages of you know, our own value proposition, and it just gets a little messy. Okay, so I took this class that was really very impressive, and they helped me put my value proposition together in just a matter of minutes. Okay, just by answering some very, very simple questions. And it's because this is about your the importance of your personal mission. Okay, and actually, when we're done with this class, I am going to send it to Eileen so she can send it to you, because I think you'll find that this is going to, and I'm looking for it because I know I actually duplicated some. I duplicated it, and I created some blank ones because I actually gave them to my team, and I did an exercise with my team about them coming up with their own, you know, personal mission and value. And it's really, really simple. It was so simple, you know, because sometimes you overthink things. And this was so simple, and I was able to put something together in just a matter of minutes from going to this class. And I'd like to share this information with you after the class, because I think you'll get a lot of value from it. Because I think it's important that when you go somewhere and, you know, you can talk about your own personal values and your own personal, you know, proposition, what your mission. And I think that would give you an edge over all other agents that go to a listing appointment and really don't have those values in writing, you know, and this could actually be part of your presentation, and this would put you, this would set you apart, you know. So I will do that. I know I have it because I did an exercise with my team, and now I cleaned my office so good because I wanted to clean before the cleaners came, and now I can't find anything. When it was messy, I knew where everything was. So, but I'm gonna get that and it's a one page. It's a one page exercise, and it's some bullet points, and by looking at the things that are important to you, you can put your values in order in a matter of minutes, you know. And it helps you because it also gives you clarity about what it is that you want to, you know, the service you want to provide to your clients, you know. And I think it makes a big difference. So the pre-listing goals is to state your value, to build confidence and answer questions, and to save time by answer objections up front, you know. And, you know, again, you state your value. That's telling the seller what you bring, you know, and, you know, what you bring in the form of a marketing and what you bring as an individual to the table, you know. And this to me is just as valuable to somebody who's been in the business 30 years as to somebody that just starting out in the business. You know, I see all the cameras off. Did we lose them, or they're just incognito again?
Happens when you give them a break.
You know what? They give them a break. They go answer phone calls and forget it, right? And you know what? For somebody who's been in the business for a very short time, one of the best lines that I've heard somebody say, and I used it when I first started, is a lot of times the seller will ask you, why should I use you? You're a new agent. You don't have any experience. You know, what value are you going to bring to me? Okay. And to me, one of the perfect answers for that is, I don't have any other clients. I'm going to give you my undivided attention. Nobody's going to take care of your needs like I am, you know, because when you have a very busy agent, you know, sometimes they're so busy that things, you know, slip through the cracks. Okay, so you know what? Now I'm lost. Am I using the right document? Yeah, I am.
I think you should be using the PowerPoint. I believe. I'm not sure though.
I am actually using the, it's okay, we're good. I think we're good. So here this talks about the listing presentation. We talked about the pre-listing packet when needed.
Do you want me to show them where to find the presentation packet? And
Yes, please do, because you know where that stuff is.
Let me
Please.
show you guys where to actually find.
I'm going to learn something too, by the way.
What?
I said, I'm going to learn something too.
Oh, okay. Oh. So the first thing I just want to tell you guys is the listing presentation they have in Command is very long. So you're not going to want to use all the pages that they give you. So let's just go into Command.
And like every listed presentation, they always give you extra fluff, but you use the pages that you think are of value to you, you know?
So I suggest that you pick and choose which pages are important to you, because it's very long and you're going to want to read it, quite frankly. I'm still getting that little squelch. I don't know why. Okay. All right. So when you're at the dashboard for Command, you're going to go to Designs, which is right here. And then you're going to go to plus sign to create something new. And then we're going to go to print. So you want to create a print design. And then next. Okay. So it's going to open up into a different workspace. And you're going to pick under listings, the listing presentation, which is right here. And there's two styles. One's a more modern look. The other one's more of a traditional look. You can use either one that you prefer. I prefer to use the classic, so I'm going to use that. And what you do is you go through it page by page, and you have to actually add the pages that you want to use. And then you'll have a template that you can use for the next time, where all you have to do is like change the, you know, the address, the owner's name. So for instance, this is the first page. So if you want to add this to your template, you just click on it and it added it onto your template. So right now you only have one, wait one sec. You only have one page in your listing presentation, although it says two, because it gives you a blank page. I don't know why. Then if you want, you can read the instructions. They're here and tells you how to do it. So let's say you want to add this one in, you would click the plus, you'd add the new page. And then the first time it's going to take you a little while. You could want to put in your logo down here and fill out all your agent information. I already did a class on this. I'm going to see if I can find the recording, but you're going to go through and kind of set up your template. So when the time comes and you have a new listing that you want to go on, all you're really going to have to do is change the client's name here. And the way to do that, the easiest way is this little thing that looks like a half-eaten Hershey bar opens up. You just click on that and you change the names. So I'm going to put it Sam and Mary. I just changed the name. And you click Save Changes. So you may want to make it a little wider so it all fits. You would upload your logo, like I said, and put in all your contact information down here. Then you would go through each page. So now I'm adding this page, and you know, you can change the pictures. There's plenty of pictures to choose from in the template. So let's say I don't like this picture. I would go into KW, let me find it, into my company, that's it. And you can pick some pictures. So let's say I didn't like that one. There should be other pictures. I could pick, let's say, this one and replace it. So like I said, you go through and you set up your template this way. I'll go back. And when you're all done, you go through all the pages that you want, you click Save. And to find that, it'll be under My Designs, because these are the templates Keller Williams has. If you want to find your actual ones, you go to My Designs, and you can see all the templates that you've created. I believe it lets you sort by type. Let me just see. I should have a listing one here already that I made up. Let me just see. You know, they changed it since I last used it, so sorry, guys. Let me just go back to the beginning so I could find it. So I am going to find my print documents that I already created. Oh, here it is. Here's a listing presentation that I already created, so just so you can see what it looks like when it's done.
Eileen, when you're editing these, do you always have to use that little half-eaten Hershey bar?
It makes it a lot easier, quite
Yeah,
frankly. Like, let's say you're here, just to start clicking in there, it just you don't have to, like, you can change it that way.
Yeah, but I found that really difficult. I got so frustrated.
It's actually much easier to use this thing they call a typewriter.
Perfect. Okay.
It doesn't look how it's going to look on there, but when you hit Save Changes, it changes it for you.
Excellent. Thank you.
No problem. So here's the template. Let me see if I can. It's just hard because I have so many things open here. So these are all the pages in my thing. If I say I decide it's too many pages, I don't want all these pages, you can click on one and then you can delete it. Let me see, go back. You could delete the pages if you don't want them in there anymore. Let me go back. I'm sorry. By clicking this little arrow at the top of the page, for instance, you could just delete the page, or you can make a copy of the page, or you can add a page. So that's how you would do that. Let me find one that I already set up. Here, so you can see I already have this with Rosemary's name in it, her picture. And then once you have this template set up, you would just save it as the next one for the next time so that you don't have to redo all of your information. It'll take you a little while the first time. I believe actually Scott Leroy will set it up for you. If you ask them to set it up for you, they will go through and put in all this information for you to start with. And then if you want to go in and change the pictures and such, you could do that. Okay. All right. So I just want to show you guys how to find it, where to get it. And then you would download it. When you're done, you click download. And you can, you probably want to do the PDF if you're going to print it or email it. You would click get PDF, which range you want, which are the pictures, and then you would say start download. So that's how you would actually get that packet that you're going to give to your client. I would think now, if you're not meeting in person, you would want to email it to them before your meeting, that you would have like a Zoom meeting. Usually we would bring it to the meeting appointment, but at this point, I don't know if you're going to be meeting in person or not. Okay.
Dulce, I have a question. Do you create a listing packet that is personalized for every single listing, or do you have one that works for everyone? You're muted.
You have to unmute. There you go.
Thank you. I have one that works. It's a generic one that works for me, and it works for any of the members of my team.
Okay.
Because I have some of the members of my teams go on appointment as well.
Okay.
So the package tells a story, talks about Keller Williams, talks about the company, talks about the marketing, what we're going to do. And then there's a couple of pages, one page about what I do, my mission, and then there's a page with all the pictures of all the agents,
Mm-hmm.
So I pretty much can use it to go on a listing. I don't necessarily personalize it.
Okay.
But I
Yeah,
personalized it. What I did do to the presentation is a lot of the pictures that are in the presentation, I didn't feel were relatable. So I changed them. I put a lot of pictures of the Hudson Valley. I put pictures that are relatable to the area where we are.
Okay, and then where do you think the best resource is to get information about the company in general, and then more detailed information about the market center of what kind of business we do, and especially for a new agent, like why we would, if we want to put the weight behind the agency rather than ourselves, like where do we get that?
I mean, I put a little bit of both. I think it's important that, because we have all the tools, the technology and everything that we have because of Keller Williams.
Right.
So I put some emphasis on that, but then I put emphasis on what we do. What I can do, Beth, I will share with you the listing presentation that I'm currently using. And then you can there's pages in there that you can pull out if you wanted to and add them to your presentation.
Okay, that would be great. Thank you.
Can you share that with everybody?
I can share that with Eileen, and Eileen can send it to everybody.
Awesome. So that, and you're also going to send us that value.
I found the other document.
Awesome.
And I just scanned it, and I'm going to send it to Eileen so she can send it to you guys, because I don't have all your emails. Okay.
Thank you.
You're welcome. Okay, so we're back to me.
Next page.
Okay, let me, what the heck, what is wrong with this? This is unbalanced now. Okay, I got it.
All right, so we did the listing presentation. Now what?
Okay, let me see, where are we? Okay, so we went over the listing presentation. So we talk, the next section here is your needs come first.
This is one of the pages in the listing packet.
It is, okay. You know, I mean, it goes back to the basics, you know, the customers come first, and they're not necessarily always right, but we let them think that they are, okay? There are a number of scripts here that you can use. And you should find, you know, you should find a partner that you can practice your scripts. As you know, the more you practice, the better you get at it. You know, and it's okay to practice with family members, you know, have, you know, your spouse or significant other or an adult child sit there and listen to you, and it's okay for them to give you some feedback on your presentation. You always want to walk away from a listing appointment knowing that it's a win-win for everybody. It's a win-win for you, it's a win-win for the seller, and that you've got to put this blind down because the sun is coming in. And so you know, and learning to listen is very important, you know, to continue to listen, you know. Make sure you build a good rapport. You know, I tell people, whether buyers or sellers, I said, listen, we're going to be working together for several months. I want to make sure that you trust me and that you believe that I'm here to do what's in your best interest. Because if we don't trust each other and if we don't believe in one another, you know, this isn't going to work in the long run. You know what I mean? It's very important to build a good relationship. You know, always ask for the listing. You know what? There's times when you go to a listing appointment and just say, you know what? I have 3 other appointments. So you should be able to ask them. So in order for you to give me the appointment today, what is it that you need from me? Tell me, what haven't I said to you that is not going, that's going to stop you from giving me this listing today? You know, and it's okay to ask for feedback. You know, have I said something wrong? Have I done something wrong? Because your feedback is important to me, because that's only going to help me get better at what I do. You know, and it's okay. You know, I think it's like I said at the beginning, I think it's all about, you know, connecting with the person. It's all about chemistry. You know, if the chemistry, I mean, I have 2 agents right now that they released a listing that they had for 10 days. And when they told me they were going to take that listing, I knew that they were going to be miserable from day one, because from day one, the seller didn't trust them, didn't believe in them, had, you know, questioned everything that they did. And they just had, you know, they spend a lot of money. They spend, you know, thank God the photographer worked out something with them. They paid the photographer $1,000 for pictures and for a video. You know, it's a $800,000 house, but the woman made their life miserable for 10 days to 2 weeks, something like that. So finally she asked to be released of the listing. And this is somebody who was previously a real estate agent, okay? And sometimes you have to take a look at that. Is this gonna be worth all my time, effort, and trouble? Or do I wanna apply all this time and energy into something positive, something that's gonna be productive, you know? But the two agents who are great agents, nothing wrong with the agents, they were looking at $800,000 and they were looking at that type of commission, you know? I'd rather take, 4 listing as $200,000 and work with people that trust me and like me and believe in that I'm doing the right thing for them, you know? So continue to feed your database, talk to people, feed your database, let people know that if they need an expert in the area, you're the one.
Dulce, what other common objections do you get? Like, what are the most common?
Commission is a big one because, people are being very competitive with the commission, we try to, we can't set fixed prices, but you got to also ask yourself, what are you worth? What is your time and energy worth? People are doing, I'm looking at stuff that I'm looking at agents that are co-broking 1% and 1.5%. So they have no value for what I do. Because they're taking a listing at 3%, keeping 2 and co-broking 1. Because the seller put them in a corner where that's the only way they would get the listing. Because they don't bring anything to the table, except the fact that they're discounting their commission. So that's the biggest objection, And right now, you see a lot of crazy stuff only because of current market circumstances. When the market stabilizes, things are going to be different, But you got to tell yourself, what am I worth? Am I going to work here because I'm going to make money, or am I going to do this because I'm going to do it for free? Do we sometimes make exceptions, when you're dealing maybe with a family member, or you're dealing, with somebody who gives you, 10 referrals a year, sometimes you make some accommodations and special concessions,
But you should also do it on your side. You don't take away from the buyer's side, correct?
This is correct. But if you look at our policy and guidelines, it does state that you have to take on the listing side a minimum of 2%. I'm pretty sure that's the same for all 3 market centers, correct, Eileen?
Oh, I don't know off the top of my head. I don't know. I don't have it memorized.
I'm pretty sure that it is. I'm pretty sure that's something because that is pretty standard. I know it's in our policy and guidelines here at Hudson Valley United. So, and if you're going to do it, with the exception of when you're selling your own home, then then it's a little different. And then you need to talk to, to the MCA, or you go talk to, Maureen, the controller, and explain your circumstances to her, when you're selling or buying your own home.
Dulce?
Yes.
Hi, it's Hazel.
How are you, Hazel?
Good. I have a question. Say you have a listing and they're downsizing. They want to buy a condo. They're downsizing.
Right.
So now you got 2 things going on. You're the buyer and the listing.
That's correct.
Would you at that point, would they at that point lower your commission on the listing side? Or?
No, I don't believe that you should lower it unless there's something that they're asking of you. Okay. Now you got to remember that when you go sell them something, you have no control about what you're going to get paid.
Right.
Because depending on what they want to see, you don't know what the other agent is co-broking.
Right. Yes.
So, it's on a case by case basis. And if you have a situation like that, you should speak to the broker. But I don't think it's something that you don't have to offer it. Okay. There are times when there are people that are a little more demanding and they ask for it. But you got to also be very careful because you don't want to set that as the as a customary thing that you're going to do, because then they're going to tell their friends and they're going to say, oh, go to Hazel because she gives it to you at a discount. You know,
Okay,
so
okay,
you got to be careful not to set a precedence with that.
okay, all right.
You know, but there are times, there are times when you have these, smart asses that said, okay, you know what, you're getting 2-3 pieces of business from me, give me a break. You know what I
Right.
mean?
Yes, that's what I'm hearing.
Yeah, but you got to be careful. And you know what? I had an agent that called me a couple days ago because she's getting ready to go to the closing table, and now the seller wants to renegotiate the commission. So I said to her, very simple. You tell her you spoke to your broker, and your broker told you that they signed a contract, and that's not something that we could do at this time. And I said, and put it on the broker. Take, so it doesn't look like you're not willing to work with them,
Okay, all right.
I mean, we'll make exceptions. I've been to closing tables where, there's shortage of money and, I'm not going to lose a deal over a couple $100. I'll make the sacrifice, you know what I mean? But you have to be careful, and you got to get it approved.
You have to get it approved.
Yeah, because I've gotten, people have gotten to the closing table and they have said to me, the buyer's short $500. If somebody doesn't come up with the $500, we can't close. So my answer would be, who else is making a sacrifice? Because it shouldn't fall on you alone,
Okay,
and sometimes, everybody has to kick in, the title company, the attorney, you and the other agent, because it's only fair. Everybody's making money, so you should not be the only one to take a hit.
okay, thanks.
And if you're working with a good network of people, that's another thing. Another thing is that you need to have a strong network of people that you work with. People that are, going to work with you when there's a situation or when you need something. So you got to make sure that you're supporting the vendors in our program that are working with us and contribute to our market center. We have attorneys, we have title companies, we have, accountant, cleaning companies. We have people within our network that we should be supporting because they support our market center.
Just so you know, you have 12 minutes left, so I don't know if you want to roll through a few more slides.
Okay, sure. Let's do that. Thank you. You keep me in check. Thank you. Let me see. So, I mean, we're pretty much done. We talk here about closing the deal.
Right.
We talk to them about the final points of listing appointment and getting the seller to sign with you. A lot of times, you say to them, are you ready to list today? And they say, well, I got 2 more interviews. And you might want to say to them, like I mentioned before, why wait, sign with me now? What are they going to do different that I'm not willing to do for you? Or they might say, no, I really, I already made a commitment. Okay, so before you make a final decision with anyone, would you call me and can we have a conversation again? Because if anything, you want to be the last person that they talk to. Because if they're considering listing with somebody else, you might have a few words to bring to the table that might make them swing to list with you. And, you could do some role playing, practicing, that's very important. Get a buddy to partner up with and you go over your listing presentation, and it's okay. You're gonna, how do we get better at what we do? By practicing, so you better find a couple of guinea pigs that you can practice with, so when you have the actual appointment, you've handled everything before getting to the listing appointment. Do you guys have any questions?
Yeah, I do, Dulce. So obviously you want to have a good understanding of what the market is doing in that area and
Definitely.
a general knowledge of their home. Do you do some type of CMA in Matrix before you go to the listing appointment? And how do you do
I
that if
do.
their house isn't in the MLS?
Well, when I first have that that phone interview with them before the appointment, I asked them some key questions. You know, have you done any updates to your kitchens and bathrooms? Do you have hardwood floors throughout the house? How old is your heating system? How old is your roof? Do you have central air? You know, you can create your own punch list and touch on the things that you know that people are looking for. You know. And then you have a general idea. And then you can, you know, based on the square footage, bedrooms and bathrooms, then you can look in the MLS and see what's out there that's similar. Okay. Now I will go to the appointment with a CMA, and I will go over the CMA with the seller, but I will not leave the CMA behind unless they sign with me.
Mm.
So you do it before you actually see the condition of the house?
Yes, I do. I'm not afraid of doing a CMA before I see the house.
Yeah, because Rose, I mean, this is before all this, but before she would do a pre-listing appointment and go in and just see the condition, because you don't know what's going on inside, and then get the CMA and a listing paperwork at the next time. But I don't know now with, you know, the virtual appointments and stuff, what's going to happen.
I mean, I have a woman that is listing her house, and we actually did a Zoom call, and she walked me through the house before I went to the house.
That works, yeah.
And then she showed me that she had hardwood floors. She showed me that the rooms that she was neutralizing and painting, and she showed me a lot of things prior to the appointment.
Yeah, the one thing you can't tell is the smell. Like if someone smokes in the house, you can't tell.
Well, I'm going to tell you that I asked her about the smell, okay? Because she used to run in her house a dog kennel, okay? So I asked her, I was straight up with her. I said, listen, I know that you care for animals in your house. So some people are very sensitive. Some people have allergies, you know. I mean, you don't have to say does your house stink? You know, there's a way of going around it.
No, I think if you live there, sometimes you don't smell it, you know.
No, I know. And she was very honest with me, and she said, listen, that's something that I'm very careful about because of my business. And honestly, when I went to the house, it did not smell. Actually, it smelled like bleach because she bleached everything. Okay. So it smelled very sanitized. Okay. So, but I mean, listen, it's a matter of if you know your area. I'm not going to say that that's going to work every single time, but I do a CMA when they call me and it's an area that I'm familiar with, that I know, you know, basically what the houses in that neighborhood are made of, whether it's, you know, we have some neighborhoods in Middletown where most of the homes are bi-levels, you know what I mean? They're not very different. You know, some have a little more square footage than other. And, you know, I asked them the basic questions before I did the market analysis, you know, about, you know, kitchen, bathrooms, hardwood floors, central air, heating system, the age of the roof, things like that. I have a very good idea, you know, unless I get there and the house really smells and it's messy and cluttered. But I always tell buyers, when you bring a buyer, I say, you know, just remember that when they go, all their crap goes with them. Nothing's going to stay behind. So you just have to have a little vision, you know? So any ahas? You guys have any questions? Or, I mean, I'm available. You guys have questions, I'm available anytime. You guys know it. All you have to do is pick up the phone and you can call me.
And she answers her phone, by the way.
So technical question again on the CMAs, if the house is not listed in Matrix, do you just pick another house that's similar to use as your point of comparison?
Sure.
Okay.
You start looking for houses that are similar in size and age, and, you know,
okay.
You know, so you know, whether it's a colonial, whether it's a bi-level, you know.
Okay, that's helpful. Thank you.
Depending on the neighborhood, you might you might find comps easily. There's times when there's some houses that you cannot find a comp. You know,
Yeah,
so
we ran
sometimes-
into that when we bought our house here in
Yeah.
Goshen.
Yeah.
It was very difficult to find comps for it.
Yeah, I've come across that as well, where I know the house, but I can't come up with anything anywhere near close in value, you know?
Mhm.
Dulce, can I ask a quick question?
Sure.
Do you ever use RPR for like pricing and things like that?
I have not.
You have not. Okay.
No, I have
Because
not.
and then the other thing I had a question. It's a little off topic, but since we're talking about listings, what is your take on open houses right now? I know they have to either be virtual or by appointment only.
Yeah, by appointment. You could
How
do
the hell
open
do you
houses by appointment.
You just
Very simple. You advertise it in advance, and you
and
say,
put it in
"Please
showing
call me."
time?
Yeah, and you say, please call me to reserve your time. And
Okay.
then, I would do half an hour.
Yeah.
So if you're going to have an open house from, let's say, 1 to 3 or 1 to 4, you could do one at 1, one at 1:30, one at 2, 2:30. And you know what? Actually, the good thing about that is that you can use that to your advantage, because you can make it, I said, almost like an urgency. Please call today. We're getting booked. Okay. So
Okay, I'll do that. Yeah.
yeah, please
Or we
make sure to
could
call.
Another alternative is you can have another agent with you standing outside, which, it probably seems easier just to do the appointment, so they have a time slot, because they don't want to be around others either,
Yeah.
True.
And you can team up with a lender. You can team up with other people too. There's lenders that will do flyers.
Yes, I've had that done before.
With a breakdown of, what the payments would cost based on the kind of mortgage they get,
Yep. And then the best place to advertise that is just in the MLS?
When you advertise, you can advertise it in the MLS, and then you can manually put it in KWLS.
Okay, manually put in KWLS?
Yeah, and then KWLS will shoot it out to 600 websites.
Oh, fab. So I should just put it in there then.
You can go, depending on the location of the house, you can go to some local businesses and leave flyers. You can do a mailing. You can do a special open house. I mean, right now it's a little different, but you can do an open house for an hour before the actual open house for the neighbors.
Okay.
Because the neighbors might want to come and see the house.
Yeah.
So you can send a mailing to, 50 homes around your subject, and you can send a mailing and say, a special open house just for you. And we'll be available from 1 to 2 just for you.
Okay. If you put it in manually in KWLS, though, does it go to all the other MLSs?
It goes everywhere.
It does. Okay.
Well, no, it doesn't go to the MLSs. It goes out to the world of the web.
Wherever it goes.
Oh, to like Realtor and all those places.
It
Oh,
goes
that's
to
actually
over
better then,
600
really.
It goes to over 600 websites.
Okay.
And then the other thing that you can do is if you put the post on your business page, you could share it to the community groups. Like, let's say you're in Goshen, I think you said, was that you? You
No, I'm in Dutchess County.
Yeah, so then you could share it in some are very strict about the real estate ads, but you could share them in some of the community groups that they have, if they have a real estate group. And then if you really want to take the next step, you can actually do a Facebook campaign through command.
That's what I thought I would do that. Facebook, I think I'll do that. And then you just target like a region, right?
Yeah, so what we do is, because we were trying to attract people from the city, like I don't know how many miles from the city you are, you can do a radius around a certain area. So you can pick zip codes you want to target, but you could do a radius from a certain area.
I'm going to do that. I'm going to do that today.
I think in a class, I want to say last Thursday, that there should be a video on the YouTube page for. I did campaigns in command. It's pretty easy. So
They are easy, actually. I did do one for this same listing, and I targeted the city, but it's overpriced, so I'm struggling, but they won't budge.
If you're in the city, a 1-bedroom, 1-bath is like $1 million. So, you know.
I know, but all right. So manually in ALS, and so I don't actually have to put it in the MLS then. I don't literally have to go into each of the MLSs.
You should. Why lose people for 2 minutes of work? You know, you should.
Okay. All right. Thank you.
Now, how many MLSs you belong to?
3.
Oh, I didn't know that.
Is your listing in each one of those MLSs?
I'm sorry, say again?
Is the listing in each one of those MLSs?
It's in 2 of them. It's not up in the Ulster one.
Right, so you can only do it in the 2 that you are participant in.
And it can't hurt to put them in. I would definitely put them in.
No.
So do all 3 things then. Yeah.
Mhm.
Okay. The Facebook ad, KWLS. That's awesome.
And make sure you share community groups because it could be somebody, you know, out there. You don't know.
And then, but is KWLS, how do we access it? Is that in command?
Yeah, no, you go to mykw.kw.com.
Okay. And then you just find that up in the top.
Yeah.
Technology. I'll show you quickly. It's technology and then KWLS.
Don't, I know, Eileen, you don't have to show me. I know how to do it.
Yeah.
No, I've gone in there many times.
It should really be in there though, if it's in the MLS, but I'm not familiar with your MLS. We only use HGAR down here. So.
Right. So I know it'll go into HGAR, but I can put it into Mid-Hudson too. Yeah, that's pretty easy though, right? It's pretty self-explanatory.
And you just put basic information in. You don't have to put everything. So.
Thank you,
So
everybody.
you guys are good? You got something good out of this?
Excellent.
Yes, thank you.
Yes, thank you very much, Dulce.
You're welcome. And
Dulce, don't forget to send those things to
I'm sending that email to Eileen right now.
And I wrote you guys' names down, so I have everybody.
Thank you so much.
Yes, that was so helpful. Thanks, guys.
Hey, take care.
Anytime.
Bye, everybody.
Take care.
Bye.
Eileen, I'm gonna email you right now the paper that I was talking about.
Okay, thanks, Dulce. I appreciate it.
You're welcome. My pleasure. Okay.
Bye.